Well, good morning all, it's James here. Welcome to Monday. It's probably going to be quite a tough week again, as we have had for the last few weeks. Now, going across to the master page, you can see Bitcoin just dropping off a bit, NASDAQ sort of tipping down, same as the S&P. Gold and silver got a bit of a surge at the start of the Asian session, as they often do. That's quite normal. But then have dropped back down again, both of them just spiking up a little bit, coming back down. Natural gas still lurking down at those lows. I'll refer you to yesterday's video. And WTI crude oil poking up a little bit this morning, not much. And the dollar moving down simultaneously. And often they move together, so that's a little bit of a break in pattern. And also on the day chart, you can see in the last few days, as natural gas has moved down, crude oil has moved up. So also breaking this very tight correlation that we've had during the war. So that's the master page. Let's look at a little bit of detail. I'm not going to spend a lot of time. I spent ages yesterday in the live stream, so I'll link that one at the end of this one. And I cover all the instruments in the live stream, so you can go and check that out when you finished here. So as I said, the NASDAQ reaching up into this very overextended level, 17 days or something now, 19 I think, with a 19% rally, just dropping off a bit in the start of the Asian session. We've got two short trades on from the top here and one hedged trade, and I'm looking for a move back down to the trend line to reverse back to long, or the top of the green block, or this black line, and where the 20-period moving average is approaching, which I called the head of the horned beast the other day in the live stream, and it's potentially possible we could get even further back into the 38 or 50% fibs, but that's an awful way long down now after we had such a big rally, so it's probably less likely. So any of those three levels really, the trend line, the top of the green block, the previous all-time high, or somewhere into these fib retracement zones. NASDAQ and S&P are behaving very similarly, so I'm not going to go into all of them right now, and we've got longs on all of these names at the bottom. Now on Bitcoin and XRP, Ethereum and Solana, they're all just moving down a bit. And as I said to you in the live stream, and I'd really encourage you to watch it because I go into some of this in some detail, I'm really concerned that the top of this flag is actually going to hold us down and that we may have to break down through the center line, through the moving average cluster, down to the bottom. And if we do get down to the bottom, barring a false break or a false confirmation of the flag, in other words, not a real break, that might reverse a day or two later. Excluding that possibility, we're probably going down to 40-something thousand. So although I'm long from quite low down now where these moving averages crossed over, I'm also 50% hedged at the top, and I will add more to those hedges if we keep moving down. If we zoom in a little bit, you can see we've got quite a nice little flat bottom there, and perhaps that's the first point of breakage on the day chart, and a close beneath that little ledge might be the start of it. I don't know. Overall, I'm actually bullish on Bitcoin, gold, silver, stocks, basically everything, but they're all quite overextended, and I think they might all have to come back a bit. The rest of these altcoins that I'm in as well, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana, will follow suit. And along with many other people, I sort of feel that Bitcoin dominance isn't going back down, and that Bitcoin dominance is the trade. And so all these altcoins, the millions of them, most of them will fall by the wayside. But I think those big three, apart from Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and XRP, have got a chance. And Bitcoin v gold is moving up now, and you can see we've approached the 20-period moving average as a weekly chart after quite a nice recovery. We're into this fair value gap zone now. If you look on the right-hand side, very little volume, and that should take us all the way up to the 200-period moving average. And we'll see what happens thereafter. Can Bitcoin dominate gold, or can gold continue its dominance? So far, it's all been up for Bitcoin v gold, but gold's had a good run recently and Bitcoin not so much, hence the drop-off, and I think we might now try to recover. Talking about gold and silver, as I said on the previous master page, these haven't moved at all for days, indeed weeks and months now, and I'm torn between longs and shorts. I'd encourage you to look at yesterday's live stream for more thoughts on this, but basically we're in the chop zone, right in the moving average cluster and stuck there. And generally, I think gold and silver both have to move down a bit, but I'm not convinced of that, and I'm bullish on both of them overall anyway, and I think these are bullish markets. I'm playing the retrace. I'd like you to look at yesterday's video again to consider those thoughts. I'm also long on copper, and despite the reversal on Thursday, we're still holding the top channel line, and I'm still long. We got long from very low down on copper, so we're not in any danger. I'm not trading platinum. And then going on to natural gas, well, I covered this in a lot of detail in two videos, one this morning and one on Sunday, so I'm not going to do it again now. But just to say, we are hedged, and I'm expecting this to continue to move down, potentially all the way down to $2.20, and even lower. And I think the bottom will be somewhere between where we are right now, and this could be the bottom, and 2.2, so somewhere between 2.5 and 2.2, which is a large gap that still needs to be filled, and I'm not going to draw that out on this chart. Once again, go and check out yesterday's video. I actually extracted the section on natural gas from yesterday's live stream and made a separate video for you, so it's easy to find. Go and look on the channel. Anyway, so we're hedged, and ideally we'll move down from here so that I can take profit on the short side now, and then reverse when we get the reverse, and add some more longs at the bottom. I don't know which way this is going to go, and of course there's a lot of stuff going on in the Gulf War, and there's this correlation between crude oil and natural gas, which has thrown things off a bit. And as we're talking, crude oil is ticking up a wee bit, back to the underside of the channel line, and now above the 20-period moving average on the day chart. So we may have to get up to the channel center line at about $101, maybe even the channel top, and break well back into the channel before moving down. But generally, I'm pretty bearish on crude oil, and I think that it'll be more difficult to get through the channel center line and the gap top, and whether we've got to fill that at all or first before we get to the bottom gap at $68, which is my target, I don't know. Anyway, I remain short, and I'm willing to add more shorts on if we get up to the $101 level or thereabouts. And folks, that's a summary of everything. If you want the detail, find the link for the live stream, which I will link at the end of this video as well, and go and check out some of the stuff in more detail. And if you're interested in joining our private group, we have a 14-day free trial back on. You can click on the link below and get immediate access for free for 14 days, 2 weeks. After that, if you decide to carry on, you can continue or you can stop and resume whenever you want. It's pretty simple and there's no catches. Take care. I'll see you in the next video.
50-day moving, that's my bread. 200 trailing, don't be misled. Bands tighten up, volatility reduced. Break out, my profits produced. Trading with the bands in the market swing. Moving averages got me doing my thing. Up and down, but we staying on track. 80s beat booming while we're stacking that stack. Crossover signals like a DJ mix. Bullish, bearish, no tricks, just clicks.